To shiver or not to shiver? Let's find out. Hi guys, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesdays. Today we are talking about shivering during cold exposure. Does it help or does it hurt? Now, I personally hate shivering, but I get asked all the time because I do cold plunges if I can still shiver, and yes, I can. I just tend not to. So am I still getting the full benefits? Well, we looked into a couple studies to find out. As always, I would like to thank my research team for making this possible, doing all the hard work, and of course, everything that we talk about will be linked to in the description. Before we get too far into shivering, we do need to talk about brown fat. Now, brown fat activation is, of course, one reason that a lot of people do cold exposure. Brown fat is the good fat that is good for you. Brown fat's entire role is to heat you up in cold, and it does help you burn fat and calories. Unlike white fat, brown fat is very good for you, and cold plunge activation of brown fat helps you lose weight because brown fat's entire role is to warm you up when you are cold, and it does this, of course, by burning calories. So the first study we looked at talked about how human bodies are equipped with two mechanisms of cold thermogenesis: shivering in the muscles and non-shivering in brown fat. Again, brown fat is good for you. Brown fat shrinks as we age until shivering dominates. Often when you're new to cold therapy, you shiver more until you get acclimated, and that's when taking breaks in cold plunging can be beneficial. Resisting the shiver effect may help increase heart rate variability and build psychological resilience, but not all shivering is done for thermogenesis. Sometimes shivering is actually trauma release. So many people do use cold baths to deal with childhood trauma or PTSD, and shivering can be a way that the body helps to get that out. The second article we looked at was the more generalized benefits of cold therapy. Of course, we already know it reduces inflammation and swelling, accelerates injury recovery, causes dopamine and endorphin levels to surge, minimizing stress and boosting mood. It increases our resilience and mental fortitude. And resisting the shiver can, again, help with this mental fortitude, or allowing yourself to shiver can help get a lot of the toxins out of the body. The last article we looked into specifically talked about how to stimulate fat loss with cold plunging. Now, a lot of people do use cold therapy as a way to help lose weight. And while just doing cold plunges on their own will not help you lose weight, it is a really, really good way to help accelerate what you're already doing. But shivering in response to cold exposure is the key to increasing brown fat thermogenesis, which again is going to help you burn more calories. Regular cold exposure and shivering can increase the amount of brown fat over time, and having more brown fat as we age is good. White fat is the fat that we don't want to have. If you're like me and you are resisting the shiver or stopping the shiver altogether, you're probably not going to be getting that thermogenesis, but you will be building mental resilience. So again, it just depends on what your goal is with ice plunging. This also means if you're going for the fat burning effects with cold plunging, you don't want to adapt. So you don't want to do long plunges at a higher temperature. You do want to do those shorter 2-minute plunges in the colder degrees. And you don't want to push for 5, 10, 15 minutes. You want to make sure that you are getting that shiver effect and then getting out, as adaptation will decrease the fat burning properties. And again, this is where taking breaks in cold plunging can be beneficial. Outside of cold plunging, it was found that people who fidget when they sit at the desk versus people who are just sedentary do actually burn more calories. So it is important in your cold therapy in the bath to be moving around to break that thermal barrier and make sure that you are getting continual cold exposure. But it's also important outside of the cold bath that you are fidgeting around, moving around, getting out and about, just to help with burning those calories. So where is brown fat located? Brown fat is located between the shoulder blades and the back of the neck, which is why it's super important when you are doing ice plunges to hit the back of the neck and hit that vagus nerve. That's where a lot of that brown fat activation is going to come into play, especially if you are, again, allowing your body to shiver or staying in long enough to shiver. So what does this mean? So oftentimes we get asked what time, temperature, duration, etc. people should be plunging. And again, as I always say, it depends on your goal. If your goal is just overall anti-inflammation, higher degree water at longer time frames can be beneficial. If you're going for mental resilience and brown fat activation, then lower temperatures for less time are going to be beneficial. And of course, guys, I can't talk about cold therapy being your practice without talking about Ice Wellness. Ice Wellness was designed to help cut out a lot of these questions and help you figure out what's best for you, your body, and your goals. So many times we just follow people who are doing cold therapy for different reasons than we are without thinking about the effects it's having on us as far as our physical and mental well-being. The Cold Therapy Journal is designed to help you discover what parameters are best for you, fasted or not, time of day, temperature of the day, how it affects you, how it affects your mental capacity, how it affects you the next day. if you're plunging at the right time, etc. And then our monthly challenges are designed to help you get some meditation in, get some self-love going on, and get a little bit of a post-plunge exercise in. This is, of course, just to help you warm up naturally, but also designed to help you move and get that fidgeting in that we were talking about earlier. Check it out at ice-wellness.com. We'll see you next week.